friends. I am out for a walk with the baby who's now sleeping and the puppy who's just hanging out. We are near our new apartment. So beautiful here. And I'm just feeling a lot of gratitude, and I just thought that now is exactly the perfect time to share my story with you all, because I know I've been a little quiet. I have a lovely daughter now, and it wasn't so easy at 43. That was when I had her, for it all to happen. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story, and I'm hoping it can inspire you, because I just feel that everyone who wants to have a family should have a family. It's a great pleasure in life. So I didn't meet my husband until I was about 41, and that was really rough and exhausting, dating and finally meeting him. I'm very grateful for that. And then we sort of were ready to have a baby, and we wanted to have a baby pretty much right after we got married. And I went to lunch with my girlfriends, and there was sort of this weird response, which was, "You're going to do IVF, right?" when they asked me if I was going to have a baby. And I said, "No, I'm not going to do IVF. I just want to let my body do what it's supposed to do. I'm a health coach. I've been on a modified fertility diet since I was about 32. And I said, I know my body can do this, and I want to have a baby. And I'll be able to have a baby." And there was this really weird response from friends. And I was actually really surprised that I trusted my body. I couldn't, and my husband trusted my body. I just couldn't believe that no one else was trusting my body. So we tried right after we got married, and then we got pregnant pretty quickly. We got married in June. In August, we got pregnant, and that was actually a chemical pregnancy, which no one told me what a chemical pregnancy was. I didn't understand it, but it means you get pregnant, but it's not a viable pregnancy, and so you'll get a positive pregnancy test, but then it doesn't burrow in, and it's not viable. So we lost that pregnancy, and then around my birthday, we just said, "I'm feeling really fertile, let's try again." And sure enough, in September, we got pregnant again. And I had the blood work done, and my numbers were very good, and they kept doubling, and everything was great. And then we went for the heartbeat, and it was beautiful, and the doctor was very excited, and we were like, "Oh my God, this was so great, and we feel so blessed." And sure enough, it was chromosomal. We found out at the maternity 21 test at 10 weeks, and it was really awful. It was like really just devastating. And the thing is, no one even told us about this. And then as I started talking with friends and my family even, it came up a lot that a lot of people had these abnormal pregnancies that didn't go anywhere. And so that happened, and it didn't work out, and it was very devastating. And then we got scared, and the acupuncturist who I love, this guy, Dr. Wu, he said, "Look, these things happen, and you just got to try again, and you're healthy, and you'll have a baby, and at your age, 1 in every 8 to 12 eggs is going to be good, so you kind of have to hang in there, and you have to be prepared for some hiccups." And he was very positive, and the OBGYN, Dr. Ree, who I love, was very positive and really believed in me. And I got fear scared into going to a fertility doctor. So I went to this fertility doctor that my friend went to, and this guy is a New York Magazine best doctor, you know, really great rate of pregnancy. And so we went to him, and he was very down about my body, and you know, like, we did my levels, and he's like, oh, your FSH is not good, and that's the follicle stimulating hormone. And I said, well, I'm gonna go for acupuncture. And he's like, you can do acupuncture, but it's not gonna do anything. So sure enough, within a month of acupuncture, my number went from, I think it was like 13 something, which is a high number, which is not good. I got it down to 8, which is a very good number for a 43-year-old. But anyway, the doctor just sort of, you know, was like, well, it has nothing to do with acupuncture. He said that number fluctuates, and I've been taking herbs and everything. So I was like, no, you know, whatever. And then he said, look, you'll probably get pregnant again, but it's going to be chromosomal, and the best thing to do is to do the IVF, because you can do the PGD, which is genetic testing. So I was like, I don't want to do this. I said to my husband, I don't want to do this. But we were so scared, and the chromosomal pregnancy was so rough on us that we did one round of IVF, and it was a lot of money. I think it was like 12 grand or something, and it was horrible, and you know, it was really rough on me. And I will say the good thing about the IVF was that it brought my husband and I much closer, and the ritual of doing the needles every night and every morning, and you know, I just love him so much, and we did prayers and everything before and everything, and it did bring us a little, it made us closer. It was a nice bond, but the IVF was horrible for me, and we didn't even get one viable egg. And then we did an IUI in between, and the office, the doctor was so obnoxious. Like, my husband's an interfaith minister, as well as a restaurateur, and so we're very like faith-based people, and so we were saying a prayer right before the IUI, which is where they just bypass the vaginal canal and make sure that the sperm goes to the right place. And we were saying a prayer, and then the doctor walked in, and she's like, this must be your first time. And we were like, that was not nice. That just wasn't nice. And everything felt wrong about the place. It felt wrong about us being there. But we were so scared, and we wanted to be able to do that PGD. So we're like, okay, we're just gonna do it. So then we did a second round of IVF, another 12 grand. And we did it because we could do the genetic testing. And the doctor said that he was gonna add an anti-cancer medication. Now, I'm a holistic health coach, and I am a drugless practitioner, so I help people get off medication. So he was adding another medication. It felt super wrong. I hated the way my body felt, and that failed even worse than the first one. I mean, we didn't even get like 4 eggs. I mean, it was just horrible, and I felt like crap the whole time. And then when that failed, the doctor said, the doctor called me, and I'll never forget this call. He said, you'll never have a baby with your own egg. You don't have any good eggs left. And I was devastated. And then he said, but we have an excellent egg donor program. So that just felt, my soul kept saying, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. But you know, you don't listen to your soul when you all these, the New York Magazine best doctor is telling you that you have nothing good going on in your ovaries. So you want to believe that, right? I mean, you don't want to believe it, but you believe it because you trust the doctors. They're like freaking Elvis, right? So anyway, then I was devastated, couldn't get out of bed, miserable. I said to my husband, look, I get it. If you want to leave me and go with a younger girl who has better eggs, I understand if you want to leave me. And he's like, you're crazy. I love you. I'm not going anywhere. So then I just sort of got back to myself, and I said, I'm gonna go back to how I met my husband, right? So I met my husband by visualizing, by praying every day, getting on my hands and knees, praying. And then I just sort of did everything I could. My friend Tori Quisling, she does a Bringing in the Baby seminar. So she's a clairvoyant. So we met with Tori and we did her workshop. And then I started carrying stones in my bra and my panties, and I did all this weird stuff. And I was diligent and religious about my seeing Dr. Wu, like 3 days a week with my herbs and everything. And then a girlfriend in the building said to me, you know, I had a similar experience, and you're gonna have a baby with your own egg and everything's gonna be fine. And so she sent me to 2 doctors. Dr. Owen Davis at Cornell, who is brilliant and said yes to my body. And when I went to see him, he did the sonogram on my ovaries, and he said, you see all those black dots? He said, those are follicles, and it's criminal that a doctor would tell you you don't have a good egg because you have so many follicles and you're gonna have a baby with your own egg and everything's fine. And then I went to Dr. Sammy David, who we're madly in love with, and he told me, you're gonna have a baby with your own egg, everything's fine. And he, like Dr. Wu, said, look, at your age, it's gonna take a little more time. And he said, look, your body's not responding to IVF, and that's fine too, and not everybody responds, but you have a good egg. So we did a bunch of stuff. We did that thing where they flush out your tubes to make sure everything's open, and we did a few more blood tests, and we found out that I have a heightened immune system. So my body, I probably was having a lot of chemical pregnancies, and my immune system might have been killing off good pregnancies, I don't know. So I found that out, and then we found out that I had these other killer cells in my body, and then he said, go home and have relations with your husband, and then we're gonna come back and do postcoital. So went to do that, came in, he swabbed the lining of my vagina, and then he said, do you see anything on the slide in the microscope? And he said, no. I said, nothing's moving. And he said, yeah, the sperm's all dead. And I said, oh my God, the sperm's all dead. Is that what happened? And he said, your pH is completely off. And I said, this huge $12,000 doctor never checked my pH. And he said, yeah. He said, your problem could be as little as, you know, the sperm can't get up there because it's not a conducive place. So he said, look, the nurse is going to teach you how to do the baking soda douche, which is in his book called Making Babies by Dr. Sammy David. And sure enough, we started doing the baking soda douche, and then he said, look, why don't we, and he checked John's sperm, and John's sperm was great numbers, but he said we could do a little better, so we did supplements, and then I started taking DHEA to make my eggs better. And 4 months later, after all this stuff, we were doing a couple of IUIs, and we had done a Clomid IUI, which I hated, which was really hurty and bad on my ovaries, and then he was doing prednisone to relax my immune system, and I hated that. And then finally, in August, after the Clomid IUI, I said, you know what? I don't want any medication. I said, I want to do an IUI. I want to go have sex with my husband, and then I want to do an IUI, and I don't want any medication except for the trigger shot to make sure. You have to do the trigger shot if you're doing IUI because it's called Avidril, and you just want to make sure, at my age, you want to make sure that the egg releases perfectly. So John and I, God bless John, he's a virile dude. So we went home, and we had sex, I think it was like 5 times, and then we came in and we did an IUI with acupuncture and Reiki. And when we went in for the IUI, it was very different, and sorry, there's a helicopter going over, and Dr. Dr. Sammy David held our hands. He dimmed the lights. He said a prayer. My husband said a prayer. We did the needles, and then they did the IUI, and we had Reiki, and we went into meditation. And after that, John was putting me in a cab to go home and rest. And I turned to him and I said, I think we just made a baby, because my Nana and my Aunt V just came through. And he said, I think we made a baby too, because both sets of my grandparents came through. And sure enough, that was Paloma. She's sleeping now. I don't know if you can see her, but that was her. And it was, you know, she was perfect and healthy and vibrant, and I'm so grateful. So to anyone that's having a fertility challenge, I've been through the ringer. I want to help you, and so definitely get in touch with me, and just trust yourself. You know, you can do it if you want to do it, and you believe in God, and you believe in your body, and you have a good partner that believes in you. Even if you don't have a partner, if you want to have a baby, look, anyone who wants to be a mother should be able to have a baby. So I'm sending you guys a lot of love, and I'm hoping for the best for all of you. And I am living proof that if you want to be a mom, even at an advanced maternal age, you can be a mom. So that's it. Much love, and God bless.